The Behren Morton disrespect has gone too far. In today's video, we'll look at some lists that national publications have put out when it comes to Big 12 quarterback rankings and why Behren Morton is easily, and I mean easily, in the top third of quarterbacks in the Big 12. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome into the Red and Black Report. I am your host, RC Maxfield, and I don't typically make these kind of videos because somebody in the comments will come in and say, oh, you're acting like a fanboy, RC. Well, first and foremost, I am a fan. I'm just like you guys here. I just am grateful for the platform that I have, that people listen to me. That being said, there are some things on social media right now in terms of rankings, and I get it. They're subjective. I do understand that are just absolutely blatantly disrespectful to Behren Morton. I mean, it is disgusting what some of these national publications are putting out there when it comes to QB rankings. I also understand this. Got to get them clicks, right? I understand. Listen, I do. I'm on YouTube. I know what that's like. But there's some of these where it's just like, bro, like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing? Okay. Before we do anything, let's go ahead and just look at Behren Morton and what he did last season. Is this great by any stretch of the imagination? I don't think anybody's going to say yes. I don't think anybody will say yes. Is it good considering that his shoulder needed to have surgery? Yeah, it is. Okay. 3,335 passing yards, 27 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He threw the ball 466 times. The completion percentage, not ideal at 63.3%, but he was solid last year, all things considered, because the offensive line was bad, right? It was just bad. And not to mention as well, I think it would be in his best interest, and also just telling the facts, he didn't throw as much because they had this guy named Taj Brooks, the all-time leading rusher in Texas Tech program history. Behren Morton probably would have thrown upwards of 500 passes last year and probably gotten close to about 3,700 passing yards, 30 TDs, and maybe 10 interceptions. I think a lot of people would be viewing him differently if those were the numbers, but Texas Tech, Joey McGuire has said as much, and even Behren Morton has said as much, that a priority for the roster last season was to get Taj Brooks that record. Shout out to them, okay? So that's the context we need going into these rankings, because some of these rankings, and I'm going to start with the first one that made me just want to report them to Twitter. This is putrid. I mean, this is ridiculous. I know what you're also going to say. Jake Retzlaff is no longer the QB at BYU, RC. I get it. Take him off and move everybody up a spot even. I don't care. That's still ridiculous. Behren Morton, the 12th best quarterback in the Big 12? Stop it. Get some help. You need to reevaluate your priorities and your ball knowledge, because I'm going to tell you right now, you have zero. Okay, whoever made this list, zero ball knowledge. Behren Morton is easily better than Noah Fafita, easily better than Caden Salter or Juju Lewis, easily better than the Oklahoma State quarterback, right? I would even venture to say right now, just because we don't know what he is, he's better than Connor Wegman, right? You look at this. Also, the hype around Devin Dampier, we'll see it here in a minute on other sites, is just crazy. You have to put Behren Morton ahead of Devin Dampier right now today. Does that mean Devin Dampier could end up being the top 3 quarterback in the Big 12 when it's all said and done this year? Yeah, I think he has that potential, but he's done nothing in the Big 12, and he threw 12 touchdowns last year with 12 interceptions at New Mexico. I'm sorry, there's no way on God's green earth Behren Morton should be lower than 6th on this list. 6th. There's just no reason whatsoever. And I hear the argument in terms of, oh, well, RC, he's made of glass. Okay, that's fine. He still threw 27 touchdowns last year with I caught myself there. I caught myself on the language. Messed up shoulder. Okay, he had it surgically repaired. It's been 100% for going on 5 months now. He threw nearly 700 footballs at the Manning Passing Academy. And not to mention, if we just look at what's around him, which I think is important, best offensive line he's ever had, best running back room he's ever had. Not the most talented running back room he's ever had. His wide receivers are just ridiculous, especially if you include the tight ends. I think he's playing with the best tight end he's ever played with in Terrence Carter Jr. He's going to be asked to do not as much, and that is going to open things up because defenses are going to have to account for everything. Everything. And oh, by the way, it's going to make things easier because the offensive line is going to give him more time to throw. They're going to give the running backs more time to really figure out where they need to go and find bigger holes between the A, B, and C gaps, right? Also, I think there's this. Behren Morton is going to be better because he's going to have a defense that's better. He's going to have better opportunities to make better and realistic plays and not just feel like, oh, I got to go win this football game. Because there were times last year where Behren Morton was slinging it around without that patented Morton zip that we saw early on in his career at Texas Tech. And you're like, this is not the best situation for him. It's also going to be one of those deals where Behren Morton's not going to be asked to run as much, right? You're not going to have those QB draws, what felt like every 12 or 13 plays that you were just holding your breath, right? That's not going to happen this year. Is he going to run the football? Sure. He's an athlete. But at the end of the day, it's not going to be a major part of the offense. We move on, though, because there's other groups, and this one's crazy because I actually like Andy. I like Andy Staples. Maybe I'm in the minority here. This list is downright bonkers. I mean, bonkers right now for what we know. I agree with Rob Burrow right here in terms of the gift being used. You got to write this down. This is crazy. Okay? First and foremost, again, I talked about how no way on God green earth that Behren Morton should not be a top 6 quarterback in the Big 12. There's no reason on God's green earth right now Devin Dampier should be 3. I'm sorry. I do not understand it. Okay? Easily the top 3 quarterbacks in the Big 12, in my opinion, are Sam Leavitt, Avery Johnson, Sawyer Robertson. Matt Wells continues to screw the Red Raiders on that front. If you know, you know on the Sawyer Robertson story. That being said, how is Behren Morton behind Caden Salter? Caden Salter had an year last year at Liberty. They played me for half their games on their conference schedule. Like I was a starting cornerback for half of the teams that Liberty played last year. What are we doing here? Right? Devin Dampier, I already mentioned it. He threw 12 touchdowns last year and 12 interceptions at New Mexico. I think he's good, but there's no way you can have him above Sawyer Robertson, at least in this. And I don't think you can have him above Behren Morton. Behren Morton should be 6th on this list. Okay, he should be above Jalen Daniels because Behren Morton, although he has missed some time, has proven that he can actually play in football games and when they matter. Right? He can play through that pain. Now, obviously, very different injuries. I'm not trying to shoot, Jalen Daniels down. I think he's talented. But Behren Morton is easily, and I mean easily, a top 6 quarterback in the Big 12, even with the resume he has right now through really all the injuries that he's had. I don't understand how we got here. I don't understand how people don't look at the nuance of everything. I think Devin Dampier is going to be great. You know why? Because he's going to play at Utah with the most talent that he's ever had, right? I understand that. But there's no way right now you can have him as the 3rd best quarterback with what we know. We haven't seen him play, okay? We've seen Behren Morton play at Texas Tech in the Big 12, and when he's on and he's healthy, he's pretty damn good, people. I don't know how it got to the point here on this very YouTube channel, really on this here internet that I post videos on, where I am a Behren Morton truther. I don't know how we got here. I really don't. I don't feel like it's my fault that we got here. Some of these people putting these things out, whether that's Sleeper College Football or On3 and Andy Staples with their Big 12 quarterback rankings, they're blowing my mind right now in terms of context, right? No one looks at the context, okay? Texas Tech has a top 3 most talented roster in the Big 12. Full stop. Behren Morton is healthy for the first time since his sophomore season. Full stop. Okay? He has the most talent that he's ever played with. That's not a debate either, right? You have a quarterback coach in Mac Leftwich that found and was the lead recruiter for the number 1 overall pick in this past season's NFL draft, and now Tennessee Titans starting quarterback Cam Ward. He also had Lindsey Scott Jr. win the FCS equivalent of the Heisman when he was the OC at Incarnate Ward. He then went on to Texas State and helped TJ Finley, a guy that struggled at Auburn, go into Texas State and actually look like a competent quarterback. Last year, you go into Texas State and you're thinking to yourself, okay, what's going on here? Do they actually have a good quarterback? Well, yeah. Jordan McLeod was pretty damn good last year in San Marcos, okay, with a 70% completion percentage. I understand Mac Leftwich is taking a gigantic step up from the Sun Belt to the Big 12 when it comes to calling plays, but he's never had as talented of a quarterback as a senior as he has with Behren Morton. He's never had the talent that he's going to be able to coach. He's never had the weapons, right? Like, this is easily the most easy thing to comprehend, in my opinion. Mac Leftwich, everywhere he's gone, he's been great. Now, is there going to be a learning curve? Sure. But remember who the first 3 games of the season are for Texas Tech. They're going to have a chance to iron things out on the field. They play Arkansas, Pine Bluff, Kent State, and Oregon State, all at home. The Red Raiders' margin of victory there will probably be north of 30 points. Okay? Behren Morton is going to have a chance to learn this Mac Leftwich system throughout fall camp where he's fully healthy and in the first 3 games of the season, right? Where the level of competition, not great. I understand that, but that's actually what Texas Tech needed this year. They needed that cupcake schedule to make sure all of these guys can get that continuity and synergy on the field together before going and playing in the Big 12. I'm telling you right now, I don't understand the disrespect for Behren Morton. I've heard people on national podcasts saying he's made of glass. Okay, I get it. He's been injured the past 2 years. But why are we not talking about other players like that, right? Like the Jalen Daniels of the world. Why are we not talking about the sizable jump that Devin Dampier is going to have to make from New Mexico to Utah? Behren Morton is easily one of the most talented quarterbacks in the Big 12. Listen, are we just forgetting that he was a high 4-star recruit? Like, I get it. That was 4 years ago. Don't get me wrong. I understand that. But we talk about that with other guys. Why not with Behren Morton? Okay? This is the year I think Behren Morton shuts up a lot of haters. And I was a hater in these past 2 seasons. But now it feels like I'm on the Behren Morton hype train. I don't know how we got here outside of the fact that there has just been some egregious slander of his name from national publications, most notably On3 and their Big 12 power rankings, and then Sleeper College Football, as well as others. There's been some others on national podcasts that have slandered Behren Morton, in my opinion. But I think Behren Morton is easily a top 6 quarterback in the Big 12, and I think he's going to have his best season by far as a Texas Tech Red Raider in his final season out in the 806 in the most important season for Texas Tech football in their history. All right, I know I waited till the end of the show to ask you guys. I appreciate y'all staying with me. You tell me, Behren Morton is a top blank quarterback in the Big 12. I'm going to go with easily a top 3rd, so top 6, in my opinion. I think you could put him as high as 5. I really do. I think he's that good, and I think he has the potential to be better. But let me know. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm crazy on this front, but let me know down in the pinned comment below. Behren Morton is a top blank quarterback in the Big 12. All right, that's going to do it for today's video. Appreciate y'all tuning in. If you haven't already, be sure to like the video and hit that subscribe button. It's the best way to help the channel grow, and also make sure we get as many Red Raiders watching as possible. So really appreciate y'all tuning in to all the content we have. For those that may be interested what's coming up, well, we've got some things in terms of on the schedule. Let me turn this on over here and look. Bold predictions. That'll be out next week. And then next week as well, record prediction. My official record prediction for Texas Tech football in 2025. I will release that next week on the channel. And then maybe next week or maybe the week after, we'll have a video on maybe my biggest hype video for Texas Tech football yet. We've got some hype. There's going to be a hype train here on the channel. There's no doubt about it. All right, that's going to do it for today's video. Appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm RC Maxfield, reminding you, as always, to stay safe and Wreck 'em Tech.